Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel if you're new, or welcome back to the channel if you've been here before. It's your boy Mansa here today to talk about some interesting news slash rumor slash leaks that we heard yesterday regarding the potential of a Zelda movie coming out between Nintendo, Illumination, and Universal. Just like we saw with the Mario movie, of course, Mario movie has passed over $1 billion. It's been a huge success. We've seen that. A bunch of more Mario games selling, just off of the heels of that movie doing so well. And, immediately people are thinking about, like, what's next from Nintendo? Are they going to continue with this? Or is it just a one-off or anything? But we know Nintendo loves money, so of course more was going to come out of this. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you like this video, and let's get into it right after this. So we've seen over the years that Nintendo has tried to do a lot more than just, sell hardware and software. They've tried to get into other ways to make money, whether that's, TV, movies, licensing their IPs out. You got the Super Mario World over in Universal Studios. So to go along with that, we did see the Super Mario movie come out this year. And like I said earlier in the video, over $1 billion. It's the second best-selling animated film behind Frozen. So it's already there. It's just printing out money. Of course, these movies take a lot to make, but we know it's getting their return. Nintendo's seeing the return that they would like on this type of project. And the next thing everybody was thinking was, okay, are we going to get a Super Mario 2? Are we going to get a Galaxy movie? What other IPs will make sense? Some people want to see a Metroid or a Kirby and things like that. I mean, but the main one everybody was thinking about, like, when you think of Nintendo and their top IPs, you have Mario and you got Zelda, especially as of late with Breath of the Wild and now Tears of the Kingdom selling so much. A lot of people have been asking for a Zelda movie, and what I want to go over in this video is just kind of think about, like, what would that look like. The person that broke this story actually was a guy named Jeff Snyder, in which he said, "I'm told that Universal is in fact closing a big deal with the Nintendo Corporation for The Legend of Zelda." Snyder said on the latest episode of the Hot Mic podcast, "Zelda is looking like the next big Illumination Nintendo franchise, which we were all sort of expecting. I'm told that this is happening." So again, like, people have already kind of wanted this. Some people have said maybe Kirby or Metroid or maybe even Star Fox or something like that, but everybody knows we kind of all want Zelda to be next. The first thing I wanted to think about for this movie would be, who would be the actors in this movie, right? Like, that's kind of the first thing people got to think about. Like, you don't just make a movie and then throw in some voices. You got to have people that can voice act. It is a thing. People are, wary around Chris Pratt being Mario. We've seen, some people say, oh, Seth Rogen makes sense for Donkey Kong, like stuff like that. So who will be the actors? And, a lot of people know Link is a silent protagonist. He doesn't talk much. He has his little grunts and screams and, little things like that, but he has never said a real sentence. I mean, there's some clip floating around of him talking like an old cartoon or whatever.
Phew.
Zelda!
Link!
Oh boy, smooching time!
Ah!
Oh!
How would the actors come into this? I mean, there was a star-studded cast for Mario, so I would hope Zelda would get that same type of, energy. We've seen them try to play with, like, the old English voices and stuff like that in the video games. I mostly play in the Japanese audio, so I don't really hear it that much, but it'll be interesting. I haven't really thought of anybody, but I think Link will have to talk in the movie. You can't have a 2 hour or hour and a half movie of Link just not talking the entire time. Now, the next thing I was kind of thinking about, which will also go into my third point for the movie, but the second point I was thinking about was, what would the story or tone of this movie kind of be? So we've seen, like, most Zelda games are probably rated E10 because there is, a little more cartoon violence. It is a fantasy world. There's, swords and weaponry and stuff like that. It's not like Mario where you're just hopping on a shell or a Goomba or whatever. Like, Ganon has gotten impaled in the face multiple times. But for the most part, there's no blood. I mean, sometimes there are different color blood, but it's mostly sparks and different colors and stuff like that. So I would like them to do a little bit more of a mature game. I know Twilight Princess was actually rated T for teen. I remember when I got it back on the Wii, all the way back in 2006. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see what they would do. Personally, as far as the story goes, I would like an original story that, I mean, Zelda, every Link and Zelda and Ganon are pretty much a different incarnation of themselves. There's a couple sequels in the timeline, but for the most part, you can make an original story just for the movie and no one would really care. Like, you don't have to really stick to a specific source material. I personally would like them to go the Ocarina route, where not necessarily sticking to Ocarina of Time, but have the whole, you know, Link as a young person trying to figure things out, going on adventures and stuff, and then you have like a time skip or something. You don't have to have him necessarily, you know, pull the Master Sword out the Temple of Time and get trapped there or whatever, just something like that. But I would like it doesn't have to be 100% mature, but I would like them to go a different route than they did with Mario, where it was like super advertised for all family to come and all that. I would like a little bit more maturity from that. I said that kind of goes into my next one, which is the rating. Like, what would this movie be rated? So, you know, you could have a little bit of crude humor, jokes and stuff like that, but what I want to think about is, you can't, like, in America, there's such a wide range of ratings. You have like rated G, which is everybody, PG, which is a little more suggestive themes, and then it jumps to PG-13. Like, there's no in between that. And then you have rated R, of course, but like PG-13, rated R, so close. PG and G are so close, but then PG and PG-13, it's just such a wide range of like what you can get away with. I mean, Across the Spider-Verse was rated PG, and that was, you know, somewhat violent and things like that. So I think it'd have to be PG, to be honest, like, to keep without alienating the audience and everything like that. I just hope they can like teeter the line of how dark they can get, or, you know, just not make it too super kiddie like Super Mario. Again, I enjoy Super Mario movie, but it was a very like family movie, so I would like to see what they're going to rate it. It'll probably be PG, to be honest, just so they can, you know, get the most amount of money for the movie. Then the next thing I was thinking about was, what would the release window be like? So we know, I think the Super Mario movie took like 6-7 years or something like that. Of course, COVID and things like that played a part, but, you know, if they're just now kind of leaking, like they haven't even come to an agreement yet, I don't know where this movie would be. Like, does Nintendo care that much about getting into film and stuff if they're going to have movies come out so far in between each other? Of course, they're not sequels. They're making money off their video games and stuff like that. But, I mean, we're seeing now with TV shows of, you know, video game adaptations, like you're getting seasons every, you know, not every year, maybe year and a half, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. But when it comes to movies, it's a lot more budgeting. They're not necessarily connected to each other, so you can kind of spread it out a little bit. So I don't know, we may honestly not be talking this movie till 2028, 2029 maybe, who knows. But, you know, it's interesting to see when it could possibly come out. Maybe it'll coincide with the next Zelda. We know Tears of the Kingdom just came out. We're probably not getting another Zelda for another 5-6 years, so hey, maybe they try to line it up with that. And then the last aspect of this I wanted to talk about was what I'm calling, I'm sure it's on Reddit somewhere, but the NCU, alright? The Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Everyone's kind of thinking like, okay, this is trying to set up for a Smash movie, right? You're gonna get all the original characters, Star Fox, Mario, Pikachu, everybody have their separate movies, and it just leads up to a giant battle against Master Hand, right? And I don't know if Nintendo wants to do that. Like, again, I think this will be secondary to them. They want to do it how they want to do it. And we've seen, like, the MCU idea kind of backfire in some instances. Like, it's great when everything kind of connects, but then it's like, you kind of get that, like, fatigue. Like, okay, I don't really care about this Disney Plus show, right? Or, like, I gotta watch every movie you may not care about just because they all interconnect. Or even sometimes the actors get burnt out because they gotta show up in 4 different movies for 5 minutes total, and it's not even that important. Or you see what's going on with Jonathan Majors, you get that incident, now you gotta figure out how to make the rest of the universe come back to connecting. It's a whole thing, and I don't think Nintendo wants to do that. What I think they'll do is, we can see all these characters show up at some point, but I think what they'll want to do is maybe have the big IPs like Mario and Zelda, they get the big movies, and then maybe even a Kirby movie. A lot of people talk about that. And then you kind of have like, maybe you get a deal with Universal on Peacock for streaming. You get a show. Maybe you get like a season or two for like lesser, popular IPs like Star Fox, Earthbound. Like, I mean, listen, Metroid would be super dope if they do it. And listen, all the animation style doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to all be Illumination. Maybe just the movie, when the Smash movie, that'll be Illumination. But you could get like, I don't know, Studio Trigger to come through and do like, they did for Cyberpunk and Promare. And like, I really like Studio Trigger and what they do as far as their animation style. Like, we could see that, like an anime style, maybe like a Fire Emblem series. Like, they could play a lot with this, and it necessarily doesn't have to lead to a Smash movie. It can just be they own universes, and that'll be fine. I think a lot of people will be fine with that. We have enough interconnected universes throughout every other form of media. Like, it's fine if they have these all as standalone, but I do think they will pursue other IPs in some instance. As far as making a quote-unquote NCU, maybe. We'll have to see about that. So those are my thoughts on the the rumor, the leak around a Zelda movie possibly being in the works or getting a deal done for that. A lot of people have been asking for it. I love Zelda, of course. It is my 1A, 1B favorite franchise all the time, next to Sonic. So I'll be happy to see it, but I think we are a ways off from seeing this. Probably, like I said, 4 or 5, maybe even more years down the line. So when we get more news straight from Nintendo, say some trailers, some concept art or something, we'll break it down on the channel. So that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching, of course. Please keep subscribing. We are on the way to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate everybody who has been subscribing, all the new subscribers and even the old ones. So thank you guys again. Leave a like if you haven't. Comment down below, what do you want to see next from Nintendo in this like movie or TV type of medium, and then I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.